Hi, and welcome back to Everyday Pronunciation. This is Sherry Summers. I have a bit of a cold, so I hope you can understand me okay. I'm sniffling a bit, but I do want to talk to you about this word in our sentence. I have a big presentation coming up, this word presentation, and I want to go over it a few times with you so you make sure that you're feeling good about pronouncing it. So the sentence today is, I have a big presentation coming up. I can also say, I have a big presentation coming up. So let's break that word down into some little pieces so you can really hear it. The stress pattern for this word is secondary, weak, primary, weak. You probably wonder why that's important or why I even want to show you that. Well, because we know that this PRE part in here has a secondary stress. It's going to be medium stressed. It also means we're going to hear the vowel sound. So if I were to say present, the verb, I would stress the zent part, but the E in here could be a schwa. It could also be present. But in the case of presentation, we don't have the luxury of just dropping out that E. We have to pronounce it. So how do we pronounce this P-R-E? You can do it in two ways. You can say pre. So this is the E as in, let's say, egg or head. Or you could say pree. Pree as in E as in see or me. So either one would be fine. And you'll hear me saying them both because I don't think I have a preference. I go back and forth. So we begin with pre or pree. I think I will use the sound pre, but we'll see what happens. So we have pre. The second syllable is unstressed. That means that vowel will be removed and we'll put the little tiny We get, that's a Z sound. So present. Present, present. Our third syllable, that TA, that's where the most stress is. So make it bigger, make it stronger. The T has a little extra air coming out with it. T, t, t. So we have te, te. And if you notice, there's a shun at the end. The primary stress is always before the shun. So it's easy to tell that the primary stress will be right here on this te because shun is after. So shun. So presentation. 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 We'll mark that out. Presentation. Presentation. The other way we could do it is presentation. Presentation. So we have a big presentation or a big presentation. I'll put that big in there. Big has a short I in it. Big. Big presentation. Now, big has some stress too, but not as much as te. Big presentation. A big presentation. A big presentation. Now, some people might wonder how we can smoothly put this G and P together. Let me see if I can explain it well enough so it makes sense without me showing you my mouth and my teeth and my jaw. When you make a G, you'll notice that the back of your tongue hits the back of your palate. Do you notice that? You can do this. You just say G, G, right? G. And when we make the P, we put the lips together and say P, P. Now we've got an R coming up after it, so there are 3 consonants in a row. You've got to be prepared for the one after it before you even finish the one before it. So touch the back of your tongue on the back of your palate for the big, big. Don't let a lot of air escape. Immediately put your lips together to make the P, big P, big P. But you've got the R coming up. So what I would do is round my lips a little bit because you're going to need rounded lips to make the R. So as you're making the P, your lips get a little bit round. And you can do this. you can't see it, but you can do this. You say big big presentation. A big presentation or a big presentation. Okay. Let's do the I. I have. Have is our main verb, so we want to say it clearly. Push the V and have over into the A, and we get have. Have. I have a big presentation. I have a big presentation. And then let's look at coming up. Coming up. Coming up is a phrasal verb. That means that up is going to be a little stronger than come. So we have coming. The M is over on the ing part. And if you can, push the NG over into the up. Coming up. Or even sometimes you'll hear coming up. And both are really okay. So I have a big presentation. This needs to go up here. Coming up. Again, I have a big presentation coming up. Coming up. Presentation coming up. I have a big presentation coming up. See, I told you I'd go back and forth with the pre and the pre. I do both of those pretty often and interchange them a lot. So you choose what you want to do. I have a big presentation coming up. I have a big presentation coming up. Try it out yourself. Let's do it 3 more times. I have a big presentation coming up. I have a big presentation coming up. I have a big presentation coming up. All right, how does that feel? So remember, presentation can be, the E in the beginning can be pronounced in 2 different ways. Make sure that the te part is where you hear the most stress. And on coming up, stress up a little bit more than come because it's a phrasal verb. So, do you have a big presentation coming up? Do you know of anyone who has a big presentation coming up? Even if you don't use the sentence as it is, I'm sure you can use the word presentation in a number of other situations. So I wish you luck. I recommend that you try saying this several times today because each time you do it, it gets easier and easier. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you again tomorrow.